everybody, and you've joined me again on Games Ria, and today we've got RoboCop vs Terminator on the Sega Mega Drive. Possibly my favourite game, well, favourite platformer, let's put it that way. A little bit biased, so if the review sounds like I'm really bigging it up, it's because I really do like this game. But just take a look at the artwork. You got Arnie, you got Murphy. It's RoboCop vs Terminator. Anyway, keep watching and see what it's like. So to cut this down into a nice sizable chunk that we can just break down and digest a lot easier, the basis of this game. Okay, let's read the back of the box, shall we? In the near future, the worlds of RoboCop and Terminator merge into a single reality. I'm already hooked. You, as RoboCop, must save mankind by destroying the Skynet supercomputer, something John Connor has never been able to do. Let's continue. Destroying the Skynet supercomputer in the possible future in which machines rule the Earth and Skynet is supreme. So, I'm guessing Judgment Day happened. I'm gonna say it probably did. Okay, this, like I said, is probably my favourite game of, well, I was gonna say of all time, but by far my favourite game on the Genesis. Most people would say, oh, what about Sonic, blah blah blah. Well, I tell you, this is RoboCop and Terminator. There ain't no blue bloody hedgehog here. This is just pure machine. Well, half machine, half man. Suppose they probably could have added in the Sonic from Sonic CD? I believe he's a metallic Sonic, am I right? Yep. If they did do that, it wouldn't have made any sense at all, because they would have had to have called the game RoboCop vs Terminator versus Sonic. That would have made no sense at all. And let's face it, it's RoboCop versus fucking Terminator. Why do you need a hedgehog? Yeah, this was created back in 1993, so that was about 2 years before the Genesis eventually died by Virgin. So, you know, Richard Branson, he made this game. He's a cool guy. He knows what he wants. What you do is, it's like I said, it's generic. It's not generic. I don't know why I say it's generic. It's an awesome platformer game. So obviously you just use your up, down, left, right, as well as A and B, or is it B and C? Which is basically just shoot and jump, as well as I think one of the buttons will also select the weaponry you have. So obviously on your way, you obviously start off with your auto 9mm or whatever his pistol's called, and you can select or capture, I should say, power-ups. So you get a flamethrower, rocket launcher, missile launcher, among others, to use against the waves and waves of Terminators. What you do also have to do on some of the levels, as you can see here, is you have to rescue a lot of hostages, and by doing this, gaining more points. But to be honest, I don't think you actually have to capture any hostages, if I remember rightly. You can actually complete the level without doing it. You just won't get as many points. About points, who does care about points when you can just go through gunning Terminators down just like that? Literally, at the shot of a gun, they explode into pieces. Well, actually, hold on. I know I've never realised this, but most of the enemies in this game actually aren't Terminators until you get further on into levels. In fact, as you're about to see, this is a Terminator. It's Arnie. You'd never think Arnie would turn up in this game, would you? But he has. To be quite honest with you, why wouldn't you realise that Arnie would be in this game? It's fucking Terminator. I mean, how stupid have you got to be if you didn't think he would be in it? But look how awesome this is. He keeps coming back. He keeps coming back for more. Right, it may not surprise you to know this already if you don't already know this. This game is obviously inspired by the Frank Miller comics. So, the guy who made Watchdog? Is it Watchdog? No, Watchmen. There you go, Watchmen. Yeah, I know he's famous for that. I'm pretty sure he also does Walking Dead, the graphic novels and comics. So there's a fun fact for you. To be honest, looking at the game design, or the level design, it's a really simple design, but I think this simple design really works. The levels themselves, actually, I personally think, reflect the sort of scenery from the Terminator movies and the RoboCop movies. So it actually kind of looks like Detroit, as well as Los Angeles, sort of the 80s Los Angeles, where everyone had big hair back in the 80s, from the first Terminator film, not necessarily the second or the third or the fourth, or even the fifth, but definitely the first one. I mean, if you just look at the design of the actual the characters in this game, and the actual, like I said, the level design, the shadows, the nice effects there, the lighting effects, were really pretty good for the 90s, very early 90s. But like I said, you can see obviously this was made towards the end of a console's lifespan, where the games actually look really, really good. Also, the controls are simple. Like I said, it's just a couple buttons, up, down, left, right, and that makes for the better game, I think, personally. I'm not all for the big stupid controls where it takes forever to do anything. As you can see here, we've also got a boss battle here. You've got Kane. I'm not sure Kane's in the Frank Miller comics, but what a great thing to see him in it. Yeah, don't you think? I'm pretty sure Ed 209 might be in this game as well. But I'm not going to say he is, just in case I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure he is. Sound design, that's another thing I need to mention. You've got voices in this game. Literally voice sound recordings, which back in the day you never really got on cartridges. But then obviously they came along and sorted it out. Because, like I said, it was towards the end of a generation of consoles, so they knew what they were doing, they were getting through onto it. Price, around £5 to £10, mine only cost, it was under a tenner, and it's available for all the decent consoles, so the Genesis, the Master System, and the SNES. I advise you pick it up. Like I said, it's my favourite game of all time, and you need to play this. And give me a comment if you haven't played it, and tell me what you'd like to see next anyway. So join me again on Games Re-Up.